Ready Player One feels like that third-party little brother controller, you know? You were player two. So it didn't always look the best. The buttons were in strange positions in some cases, and sometimes the cable was just a little bit too short, so you had to sit on the floor instead of the comfortable couch. But the thing is that it always did work. Ready Player One, which is a movie based off of a book of the same name, is exactly like that controller. It's quirky, and it works. It's enjoyable and doesn't seem to overstay its welcome. The plot is based around Wade Watts, who is a teenager who lives in the slums of Columbus, Ohio, the largest city on Earth, apparently. These slums are called the Stacks, too, by the way, and they're quite breathtaking in their sight, because you just look at them and get kind of nervous that they're just going to all fall over. But anyway, his life sucks, which is typical for a kid living in the slums, so he escapes like most kids and pretty much everybody in this world seem to, by going into a virtual reality world called the Oasis. Video games to escape your real-life problems, huh? Sounds familiar. This virtual world's creator has unfortunately passed away recently, and he left, instead of, to shareholders, he's left his company up to a competition. Inside of this oasis, he has hidden 3 keys behind multiple different riddles and other kinds of things that you have to get. If you get all 3 keys, you can unlock this holy treasure room, and you get $500 billion, yes, I said that correctly, and control of the company that controls the oasis. Now, this is kind of where our villain comes in, because, yes, of course, Wade Watts is our hero who's going after it. He's got a band of buddies, we'll get to them. But the villain is a company, and man, does it hit close to home. Because what does this company want to do if they get control of this company? Ads. They want to throw ads everywhere. So literally any company that could take control of this today would be this villain. Google, anybody, literally anybody, except for Apple. They would try to sell you $80 peripherals that would break after 3 uses. And like I said, Wade has friends. He's got this one big giant dude who's in this virtual world, and he's got 2 samurai kind of buddies as well. And he does meet this girl called Artemis, who is a streamer, which, by the way, good job, Twitch. You outlasted YouTube, because YouTube is not mentioned anywhere in this movie, but streaming is. The movie progresses more or less as you'd expect. Nothing is thrown at you. There's no, new concepts. It's all very predictable, but it does work well. It's a formula that's been tried and tested, and is at the very least successful enough to create a movie that's enjoyable enough to last its runtime without overstaying its welcome. And the action scenes are actually pretty fun to watch. There's a beginning race scene that they go over once. It's amazing. It's really, really cool to watch. And the very end, there's a giant battle scene that's also very amazing to watch. And you can pick out all your favorite video game characters from the battle scene. It's amazing. It's actually really, really well done. That being said, the CG was something that I did worry about with this film. Being CG heavy, because it's based in a, video game kind of world, I was worried about how that would transpire from the real world CG into the video game world, and I was actually quite surprised. It was nothing to gawk at, it was nothing amazing, but the stacks for the wide shots are obviously CG'd in. There's some other shots of buildings and other such things that are CG'd as well, and they come across as, at the very least, believable. It's not amazing, it's not like, change the world of CG kind of, good. It's not like Guardians of the Galaxy or anything like that, but it does come across really well. And the video game world as well, it's good, but it's not realistic good. It looks like a video game. I believe it's a video game from that era. It doesn't give me that cheap vibe, something like Shark Boy and Lava Girl's world. Ugh.
You've had your cookies and milk. Now go to sleep.
I'll try.
Go to sleep.
Not like that. Sing them a lullaby. Dream, dream, dream.
But it's also not, too realistic. I believe it's a video game and not reality, and I buy into the fact that their minds are in there, but their bodies aren't. It's well executed for what it is. Now, a bit of spoilers going forward, so, if you don't want it to be spoiled, you haven't seen it yet, or whatever, stop now. Stop the video. This is just spoiler territory. Skip to the very end if you want. That's fine. Skip to Malou, my darling. So things I don't like are mostly plot related and story related. There's nothing mechanically wrong with this movie. Yes, there's a bunch of, not that great cinematography. The score is decent, but it's an action film based off a book. It's nothing, incredible. It works for the context. But the two things I have wrong with it are the love story between obviously Artemis, which is in real life her name is Samantha, and Wade, whose in-game character, if you don't know, is called Percival. So what happens between these two is they meet on this racetrack. He's like, ooh, she's a famous streamer. I like her. Oh, that crushy kind of vibe thing. And they team up to help each other try to find these keys because she's part of some resistance against this evil company that wants to take over the world. She's not in it for the money. She's in it for saving the Oasis from adpocalypse, essentially. The opposite of actual adpocalypse, where instead of taking them away, they actually, fire them out like crazy cannons. But anyway, she's part of this whole resistance thing. They team up or whatever. There's one scene where they genuinely have a nice, moment where they're dancing and stuff like that. It's cheesy and dumb, but it works. And then he goes, oh, I love you. And then she's like, well, you don't even know who I am. And then boom, he's getting captured in real life by these crazy people. And boom, one of her guys from this resistance saves them. And boom, he's in real life with her. And boom, she's like, now that you know who I am, do you don't like me, right? And he's like, oh no, you're hot. Yeah. And then it's so fast. It's like within like 3 or 4 minutes of screen time, it's like, I love you, to this happening, to boom. It's just a little fast paced all of a sudden. They don't kiss right away, but they pretty much come, like they were going to if they weren't interrupted by this guy coming out and being like, whoa, we got to do this thing. Like, it was so rushed. They kiss in the end, but it's so rushed, and it's literally just to this point where it's obvious there's this tension, and then it just kind of stops and drops off until the end of the movie when he's like, oh, I love you, I'm going to actually kiss you now, and then he does. I just find it so rushed, it's so trivial, it's so pointless, right? And of course they have, they're talking about, well, I could be a guy or whatever, right? And they have this, like, she's got a birthmark on her face, but so fucking what, right? She's gorgeous. She's this very, very, very attractive young lady. And it's like, really? You could have taken a step, in a direction, like maybe she did have something a little bit more wrong with her than just this birthmark on her face or something, right? Maybe she was bald or something like that because of a cancer or something. You could have done a lot of things to progress, like this whole streamer mentality kind of thing. And they didn't. They didn't take any leaps at all. They played it really, really safe. And it just kind of irked me. I don't know. Kind of going off tangent there. But I found that love triangle was just way too rushed. It was way, way too rushed. And it turned me right off. I didn't believe it. I didn't believe that their love would even last kind of thing. Like, it felt more like this kid was just really horny, and that was it. The other thing I don't like is Wade Watts is an orphan, essentially. Both his parents are dead. He's living with his aunt and this douchebag that she's dating, who's just a complete prick. We have, I think it's 2 scenes with them total. And they die. They get blown up. The evil guy, when he's going to capture Wade, he thinks Wade's in this trailer, and he blows this trailer up thinking he killed Wade, but he just kills his aunt and his douchebag boyfriend. And it conveyed, to be fair, they don't dwell on it, but they have this whole scene where he's trying to rush back to warn them, and there's the whole sad music when it blows up and blah blah blah. They try to make you care, and you've had 2 scenes with them. You hate the boyfriend. The aunt hasn't really done anything redeemable enough for me to feel sad that she died. I really don't care. I understand the point of the scene, but I think it would have been better to try and make us care a bit more about the aunt first, or at the very least, forget the aunt altogether and, go after Wade directly, and then Samantha gets there first kind of thing. I think that would be more of a surprise because Wade does get put in a chokehold and sleeper hold. He gets knocked out by one of Samantha, the streamer chick's men. So not knowing if it was a guy from The Evil Guy or Her would have put some tension at least on the scene, and it fell totally flat, and I just did not buy it or enjoy it. I just didn't care. I was like, okay, they're dead, woohoo, sad, boo hoo hoo, and that's pretty much it. Those are the only two things really that came across to me as rushed or unnecessary, or just kind of pure bullshit. I didn't like those two plot points like at all. But yeah, the movie overall runs with pretty few hiccups. It's quite enjoyable to watch. Doesn't overstay its welcome, like I said. Definitely worthwhile to kind of go and see. If you haven't seen it in theaters yet, I do recommend seeing it there because the action scenes are worth it to see in the theater. I think this is a movie that could have actually done well with 3D, with the video game aspect of it. It could have, built on that gimmick, but I don't think they went there, which is fine. But overall enjoyable film. Not movie of the year. Not even close. But depending on how the year goes along, I could definitely see it, being like bottom 10 of top 10 lists, like 10 or 9, depending on what's going on. It's like Game Night, which I will also be covering at some point soon. It's good, it's enjoyable, but it's not like stellar. It's just enjoyable for the family. If you want to go see something with your kids, they like video games, there you go. It's an enjoyable movie, whether you like video games or not. And it's a good movie day with your kids, man. It's good. Go see it.